Hello everybody and welcome to another tutorial in camera and lens repair. And this time I will I will try to actually fix this Mamiya-Sekor 3.5 100mm for the Mamiya Press, because it actually has some loose shutter blades which maybe the lens has been dropped or something. And then it does not really work anymore. But it could be, I hope I can fix it and in that way get it some new life. I have already fixed the very stiff focus and it's still very good. It's yeah, I really like this feeling of good focusing ring. But in this case you probably can see there is something wrong in here, and if we expose some light through it, we can actually see there are some blades, maybe one or two in there. There it is. Not it's falling out of place. So yeah, let's get into it. I will just go on, not telling too much about the tools, because it's a lot of tweezers, screwdrivers and so on. First things first, we have to take out the lens itself, the shutter lens assembly from the focusing helicoid. It's quite easy. We have to unscrew the two screws here for the flash sink, and also the retaining ring here on the back inside here, not the lens but retaining ring here around that holds the lens assembly in place. And yeah, we just take off the flash sink. It's with a 2mm flathead screwdriver, nothing special. So it's out, those. See, countersunk screws, both of them. And then we can just loosen it a little so it can come off. Now, on the back side we need some tool. It could be a lens tool, compass, or whatever you have, but in my case I use a compass, which I've done many times and it works pretty good. This retaining ring can sit pretty tight. So, and if it's the case, yeah, we can just get that. If it's the case, we can just use some isopropyl alcohol and simply add it using a cotton bud, and simply drops a few drops in here on the thread. Or one could use, I also a long time ago made this ear bulb which is with a serine needle. I already made a video how I did that. So simply add a little, I can show it here, it doesn't have to be much. This works as a kind of a sucker, so I can suck up the just a few amount of isopropyl alcohol, and then with the serine add it directly on the thread, and that's it. Let it stay there a little. If it's too tight, then it will be much more easy, hopefully. Mamiya did use a lot of thread lock back then, and some of the lenses have a good grip on it, and turn it counterclockwise, and hopefully we can get it loose. Yeah, it will come off quite easy, so nothing worry about that. And when it's off, we can just use a tool to move around with the ring, and it's already loose. Have a good grip on here, and then flip it over, and then the ring come out. So that's it. Then the flash sink is free, and we can simply pull off the, remember, there are, in some case, there are some spacers in here. You maybe can see them down here. You can see the brass color here. In my case, there was two spacers, so we can just get that out here, so it's free. See, that's it, nothing special. And you can see here there is a thin spacer and a thicker spacer, so hopefully I can get them off. Sometimes they can be a little tricky. See, the guide hole here is for the small guide pin down here. One spacer and a thin one. Maybe it's just easier to do that here. So it's a thin one. And the other one is a much thicker. So now we have the lens shutter assembly, and I will of course I need to take out the lens element, which there is no idea to have here. And if they sit too tight, one can use a rubber gasket, whatever called. I mean, you can get those rubber gaskets in the in the hardware store. So, and simply add it here, because they are very sticky. This rubber here, it's quite sticky. So you will, hopefully, it will be very easy to unscrew it. And that's the back. It's only one. You cannot take this lens assembly, this lens group apart. Then the front, it should not be a problem. It could be, but have a great grip on the back here, and of course I've been into it, but it could be that it sits a little tight. So there are some marks on here. Could be a cleaning could be necessary. Now put this aside and using a rubber gasket something. And now we look into the retaining ring that actually hold the whole front here, where the aperture ring and the exposure ring, and also the timing ring. So we need to have the tiny screw here. Simply turn it 180 degrees. Hopefully we can do it. Need a better screwdriver. I think this is a little worn out. This not screw, but so I have to turn it. It's not in the best shape. So now it's free, and then I can simply push on the ring and hopefully loosen it. Then I can fully unscrew it, and so, and have a good grip here so it not just fall off. So the ring is out. Then I can take this ring. Now we can take off the aperture ring and wiggle a little, but of course not, because I sit with one screw here on the side with this little handle. So we need to unscrew the little black screw here. Whoop. It fall off. So we just need to put it aside. So now you can see it's loose, so one can lift it off. And that's it. So put it aside. We will not do anything about that. And then I can take off the exposure ring, and the timing ring in this case will also come off at the same time. If the shutter is cocked, so you have to fire it. In this case, the shutter is not ready to be fired. So maybe it's better to just take off. I mean, have two fingers here, and you can then lift the exposure ring itself. Just take it off. If have some notch here and a notch here for the click function here. So normally it will sit like this, something like that. See, and then it comes off. Now the timing plate also can come off, and take care of some springs can actually come off. So we just need to lift it off gently. Remember how it should sit. This pin here, it goes all the way from here in this section, and the timing itself, it's set by this area here. So this pin here will actually, when I move it, it will go into that section. The slow gear which is over here. Of course it works together with this over here, as I understand. Maybe I'm wrong. So out with that, and then we are looking into the shutter itself. We need to take out some parts because before we go into all the small stuff here. The spring here, which is actually the main spring, I mean part of it. There's also another spring under here, which is for the gear here. So we can lift off this end, or we could do it in a different way, simply by take off a little pressure. In that way I could actually take this gear out. That's it. And then I can take off the cocking ring. There could be some little tension, so have a grip, and then you can turn it to get it off the pin here. See this pin here? This is the end of the spring. It goes on here, and there is a little hair coming in here. Get away now. So normally it should sit that way, so you cock it that way, So, and now we begin to dig deeper into it. This pin here, this lever here, I think it's used to actually open the shutter blades if it's needed. I'm not that sure, but we can take that out by simply doing so. Simply move it a little, and then it will click free from the spring here. It holds the screw here, holds one end of the gear here, and in that way we can also, when we come closer into it, take off the little screw down here. Now there's one thing we need to do, and we need a tweezer, a dented tweezer. I found out it was actually good for that way, to take out the spring here, which is quite strong, and lift it off and move it a little. So now remember how it sits, because both end of the spring is in the same direction from when it's relaxed, but the longer pin, the longer end of the spring has to go on to has to rest against here, and the other end has to rest down here, right here. So it's off, and then I can actually take out this part here, and it seems to be quite stiff because of old grease, I guess. It's really not that good. Yeah, it should come off quite easy. So, but there is a lot of old grease underneath here, but we will clean it anyway. So now we can take out the gear here, and for that we'll need a screwdriver, flathead. This is a 2.5, and simply unscrew it. And out with that. See, it has a little special spring. So that, and the other screw that actually hold the other end, it's what is actually where you adjust so the gear will go in and out. In that way you can adjust the timing. It's good with a magnetized screwdriver, and then we can take out the whole gear. So I will give it some cleaning too, and now we can dig more into it. Take this part off. I don't know what it's actually called, but yeah. And remember, this spring here, the little spring here, has to go there. So take that out. There's one screw. And then I think I will start from the other end, because I mean, when I disassembled it at first, I think it was easier in that way. Maybe I'm wrong, but to me it was more, because then you can take out some of the parts. So I will simply begin with the this little fellow, or maybe I should begin with this. Yeah, I think I will begin with that. And you see there is a little spring down here. Hopefully you can see this spring here, and it goes against this part here. Hopefully you can see it. I only have my monitor, so we have to release this spring here, pop it out that way, and in that way I can take this out. And then I can continue with this. Nothing else. Do not, I mean, the repair manual actually said, do not take off this ring if it's not necessary. I will not do that, because I think it's maybe not necessary in this case. Maybe it is, but yeah, I'll see. So take out this screw. And it's good to have a collection of different tweezers. Then take off this part here. And then we come to the gear inside here. And this spring here is a very shape of it is a funny shape. So I can lift this out. I can just take a look at this spring. If I can take it out. Yeah. That way here. And we can just put this there. So this one has to originally sit in that position here. And now I take this part here out, and it also have a spring here, which the other end is sitting up here, and it goes under the spring down here. Hopefully you can see it. It goes under here. So the thin one, there's a thick one and a thin one, and the thin one is actually, I have to pull it out, and hopefully, yeah, have to take it out in the other end here. So now it comes free. So now I can lift this part out. Hopefully. Yeah, it sticks against, I mean it sits against this, but if I lift it up with another tweezer, I can hopefully lift it up, turn it a little, and move it out. And it is, it goes on here. So, and the next part it will be this part here, and it goes, I can lift it up a little because I have to release this end of the spring here. Is this here, and the other end, it is actually, you will see here, is resting against the inside of the shutter housing. And then I can lift it out. Seems quite, not rusty, but well, it needs some new grease, lubrication kind of. And then I'll take off this part here. It's sitting here, and maybe it's better to take this out here. Yeah, I think at first, and where's my tweezer here, taking that part out here. I mean, this screw have to be released from this part here, and so a screwdriver, so you can see the screw is following because the screwdriver is magnetic. And where is my, the spring is actually fooled me a little, because it has to sit like this, something like that. One end, it will say the short end here, this short end here has to go, hopefully I can show it, on the back of this pin here. So it will go around it, around this pin here. So we can take that out. It goes against the flash sink contact. So better put the parts in a way so you can come back that way. And then I need to take out that here, this part here, and it also sits with a little spring. One end is here, the other end is underneath this part here. So that it was a little tricky to actually take out. So in that way, and hopefully I can use a dented tweezer. Nah. Need to wiggle it out a little and lift it up that way. You see here, this is what it looks like underneath. And this is actually what it looks like when we look at it. So this end of the spring here is going to catch around here. See, it has to catch on this side. Maybe it's better to show here, that way. So now I can lift off this part. Not yet, because I need to take this part here out, and it was also a little tricky. It has one end of the spring. It sits rest against the side, so we can lift it out. Remember the little flash contact here, not bend it too much. And as I remember, it was easier to use two tweezers to simply lift up the spring a little to take the tension that way, and hopefully lift up the. As I remember also, it's good to have some to kind of, let's see, also press in the little spring here for the flash. Press it in a little, and then hopefully turn it a little, and then lift it out. It's a bit tricky, I know. Better put it that way so we can. So, and now we there was another tricky part. Oh, need to take out that too. Also go there. And now this part over here, this assembly here, it sits with two springs. I mean the flash contact here, not the flash, the X and M selector here, which have a kind of a click function here. And you see, hopefully you can see this spring here makes a click because there's a little knob here, kind of, and the other spring is going around here and is connected to this part here, which is also part of the see this part here. So and it was a bit tricky, not to take out, but more to come in again, which I will show you sooner. There is one screw here. This is just a normal screw. The other is a countersunk here. It holds that plate. Now, to take out that double spring screw here, because there's some tension, we better take off the screw from that end here. And a dented tweezer is very useful that way. So then I can begin to unscrew this screw. You can see it's a bit alive, and then come out two springs and a screw. And the way they sit, we can just take it. You see, this is in the lower part of the screw. See? So it has to sit like this. So if we have it here, Hopefully you can see it in here, and the others. So they will sit like this in a way. So the two ends on the right is going against the shutter housing, and the other two ends goes to two different places, which I will show when I assemble it again. And there was some issue with putting it back in again. So now I can take out this part here. Well, it's not really necessary, but I will do it anyway, because it makes it easier to put things back in again. So now we can unscrew this screw here out to that, and the other is a countersunk screw. And funny enough, it's not magnetic. Which sometimes can be a little annoying if they are, and if they are not. And then we can lift out this part here. So now we have actually almost everything out. So now I can go to the back of the shutter, because there are some things, some notes here. See, there is the aperture ring here, and there is the X and M ring. They sit with 3 screws that hold them in place, and there's also a little spacer here that yeah, it holds the aperture ring more in place, so there is a pressure on it. And we need to take that out. Those 3 screws, they, as I found out, they have some thread lock on. So I simply add a little amount of isopropyl alcohol on the screw head. Doesn't have to be much, so they can sit and loosen the thread lock. And remember, it's close, the little spacer here sits next to the wire for the flash, just so we know that, I mean, all the screws are the same size. And it comes loose. Whoa, it's magnetic. Fine. It helps with the isopropyl alcohol to unscrew the, to soften the thread lock on those screws. And the last one with the little spacer underneath. And then also the spacer has to come out. So that's it. It needs a little lubrication. So now I can take off the aperture ring, where you can see here there's a little pin here, guide pin, and that little hole. And if I lift it up, you can see the aperture little pin where you can move the aperture plates, and so you can see it can go all the way to close, so it sits there. This ring also needs some lubrication, kind of, and maybe I should just continue down here. So, and the next thing is the MNX ring, and we can just take it off. Remember how it sits. The long pin sits here, this one, going against the notch where the wire is. That's it. Better put all those screws over here so I know where they are. Okay, where did that little thingy goes? No, I'll find it. It fell down. Now I know where it is. So now we are looking into what we can take out the whole shutter plate and hopefully come into the shutter plates. So it should sit. So as I see it, I haven't been into the shutter plates yet. So we need to take care of something. This goes there. So this, you can see, this is not good. Now, yeah, take out the wires. It's there. This one goes there. This there. Okay, yeah. Unscrew those 4 screws there, 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 there. I guess they are the same lengths, but of course I don't know. Looks like. And the last one. So now I hope I can, I don't know how the blades will actually fell out or something, but I think I should turn it that way. Yeah, I think, because then the shutter blade will fall onto the plate. I guess hopefully it be that way. Whoa! So now we have it. Haha. And this is actually the aperture assembly plate. So now we have the whole shutter with the blades here, which seems to be out of alignment. Other 2 is simply fell out. So what's happened here? Is it I mean, the blade, all the blade looks really fine. So if we can just put it in to place, which I'm not sure. Or maybe it has been dropped, I guess. But where is that little, oh, it's here. See, the little pin here have to go to the hole. But I'm not sure if it's if I can just drop it in, or I need to take out the blades. Maybe. Let's see what's happening. Yeah. Doesn't really go that well. No, you can see it doesn't really go. Well, they sit in a way the correct place, I guess, but let's see if I can move. Just need to look underneath if I can find that ring, hold them in place, I mean that moved them. I should be able to, yeah, I should be able to move them. So let's see what's happened. So is this there? Has to go to the other direction. Oh, I think I can do something underneath. I cannot really show what I'm doing underneath. It was just to see how the blade was put in, but hold on, I can just move that. No, have to move that. Ah, okay, yeah, I see. So if we move them, and they will fully close that they should, they will also open that they should. So let's see. There's one over them, all of them. They are not the same, because this blade here is one that is yeah, it must be put on first, and then we go all the way around to the last one, which sits on top of the first one and the second last. I think it must be that, but they also need some cleaning. I can see maybe it's only marks that yeah, I think it looks like they are little, there are marks after they rub against each other. But of course we can take them out, but for that we will need a tool. Hold on. So for taking out the blades, this is a really good tool. It's a lens sucker, a small one. You can just search for them. I mean, I will put links in the description also. But you see, one blades, I mean, this is all the same. It's only that blade that is not the same. So I can simply put this on here and suck it out that way. Just put it on my desk and then walk around to the last one. Nah, maybe I should take out this one. Yeah, of course I will go the right way around. We have the side here where the the last plate sits on top of it, just so we have that clear. And this one is a special one, and they also have a spacer underneath. You can see. So we need to put that in place too. Yeah, I think so. The second last one, sit there, there, and out with that. So, and then this special spacer. Yeah, I can see there are some dirt on it. Yeah, there are simply some, maybe you can see it, there are kind of, see, there is something, definitely some oil on it. So I will simply give it a bath, and I can also see there are some traces around here which also need, I will just use a cotton bud and some isopropyl alcohol on it. So now I set up a little barrel with some isopropyl alcohol, and then I will simply just take one blade at a time. I know it can sound weird, but just to make it easier for me and hopefully for you. Oh. So this goes in, and this blade also goes in. Have a little bath here, and then use a lens cloth to get it, to wipe it off. Yeah, there was actually a lot. It looks so much better. Maybe this one maybe needs a little more shower. So that's here. Nice and fine. And it has of course sit in a wrong way. Has to sit like that and that way. So out with that. And I think it will be fine. If we look at how much oil there was, I mean, I can see the blade actually have been dented, of course, of the it's not grease here, it looks like, but it isn't. It's more, it has rubbed against the other part. So that's fine. That's it. I think it will. I think it's interesting to work with, just like a good puzzle. This also looks fine, but of course there are marks of it has rubbed against this part here. So just to make it easier to put back in, I will just arrange the blades so I hopefully can put them correct in again. This one here. But there, I mean, it used to be there are 2 or 3 different shutters in this case, and there's also different blades. I mean, shutter blades. This is one type of it. So that's out here. And it seems to be all fine. Wow. So now let's put them back in again. So this part goes here. I guess it must be something like that. Seems like there are 2 holes. I think it would sit like that. So now it's all fine. And I can put this blade in. This blade goes in here. And then this one goes on top of it, as I understand. So yeah, because this blade here is held in place by 2. It also tells, because the marks that is around, we can see it works like it should. Yeah, fine. That's all fine. And then we have a lens sucker, so it's much easier. And the next one goes in. Of course it has to sit like this. So let's see where you can do it. So there. And then the last blade will sit on top of the first blade I put in and the last blade I put in. And it seems to, I think it will work here, as I understand. And I actually found the repair manual on learncamerarepair.com. They have many of them, so you just have to look there. So there, wow, it sits like it should, but will it work? That's the question. So let's see, if I move it that way, they all go out, and seems to be, but when it closed again, will they work? Whoa. Haha. It works. And there's a bloody little hair. So now we have a wow, that's great. But I forgot something. Nah. It doesn't seem that is not a problem here. Yeah, I could have, of course, I should have cleaned this area here, but it doesn't seem to be that much. But of course, but let's see how it will go. I will just do it as it is. You could have cleaned the area before I put in the plates, but yeah, so it is. Let's have a look on the aperture, which seems to be working right as it should. So yeah, I will simply put the shutter housing here over it again, and see, that's fine. Let's see, we have a screw hole here, and there should be something there. There's a hole there. I'll just put it on and see how it will go. And that way here. Oh yeah, be sure that the when you put the housing in, as I see here now, the flash contact here, so you have to, if you think of it, you have to put it in like this and put it on. So I will of course do that too. Let's see, there. Oh, will it work? Hopefully. There's something about screws, and so yeah, this contact here has, as I understand, go in the gap here. So hopefully I can catch it. It's not that easy. But who said it should be? So is it what goes on there? No, it must be that. Here. Now. I get it. No. We have a gap here, we have a gap there. Yeah, I think it should be that way here. Yep. So here we are again. Whoa. Fine. Just to have aligned it a little. And then we can try to put in a screw. And this one, And then we have to go all the way back to with all the other parts. Now let's see, will it work? Wow, the plate's looking really good, but will the shutter work? Yep, it works as it should. But hold on a second, if the aperture is fully opened, will the shutter work as it? Yeah, it does. You can see it open. So yeah, so it's back on track again. Now that's fine. Haha. So then I can put in the MNX ring. The long pin here has to sit beside the sync cable wire. Maybe it needs some kind of cleaning. Well, it's not bad, but I think it has been there for many years, and there are some dirt. Yeah, I think it will be so good. Also give it a little cleaning here. Yeah. There are some dirt and stuff on here. And I can do the same with the aperture ring, because it was actually a bit stiff. So that's fine. And also the other side needs some attention. So it was not that hard as I thought it could be. Give some good learning process. Yeah, it's quite sticky in a way. Oh. Not too much space on my desk. So of course it needs some lube, and I think I will go for the lithium grease from the Liqui-Moly lithium grease. It's LM50. You can see here, and I will just use a cotton bud to add the grease, and it has to sit there. Doesn't have to be much. Just a very thin grease film, not the film, but no, you know what I mean. Not the movie, of course. So now I think it's fine, and there. So it has to go where do we have the little pin there, but of course we need to put on the MNX ring first, but it also needs some care. So not being so much. Oh. So there, and on the other side. So I think it will work pretty good. So where is the long pin here? Goes next to the sync. So there. Oh. And then the aperture ring, the little hole here, goes goes into the little pin there. Oh, it seems to be working pretty good. There's just a little too much on here. And there's also a little too much on here. So, but of course the little spacer, you know, that little spacer here, there has to be at least something. Just a tiny amount. That's it. And yes, of course, the little tiny spacer here fell on the floor, but I found it. So now I can add this. So it's just there. Then add a screw. It's good, it's magnetized. So. Don't tighten it yet. So there. And of course the screw needs just a tiny amount. So there. Then we can hopefully put it on. Going a little backward, so it says have to catch the thread. And that way hopefully we can make it. Add a little amount of that's enough. And then I can put in the last screw. so, and there, that's it. Now let's see how wow, it has a really good feeling. Wow. And the MNX, wow, it's more alive than it was. Didn't get rid of too much grease. So now we can continue with the